What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Eleye Gunna, and I'm back here with another banger. And in today's video, man, we're gonna be talking about defense in particular. As you can see, offense is happening right now, but defense is just gonna come. Without offense, there's no defense. But let's get straight into this video. Now, to start off today's video, I want to say a little saying, and that is, defense is not just one thing, and 2K has made it one thing. Offense is not just one thing, and 2K has made it multiple things like it's supposed to be. Now, if you didn't catch that, the biggest thing that I said was like it's supposed to be. The reason that's the biggest thing is because defense is not what it's supposed to be. Defense is supposed to be multiple things being stealing, blocking, and things of that nature. Now, when it comes to offense, it has been perfectly incorporated with things like shooting, passing, dribbling, and all sorts of things. But defense is only one thing in this game, and that's where they went wrong. They didn't add enough things. We need more columns when it comes to the archetype and the whole archetype system. And also, speaking of archetypes, does archetype really matter? Do you really need a defensive archetype? If we got builds like Freaky, like Sniper, like Chef, getting more steals than a pincer, Cookie Thief, and defensive builds, they're supposed to be getting more defensive stops than any other build in the game. Does it really matter? No. And why? Because of one thing, and that is 2K. They didn't incorporate defense right, and that's why I'm here. Now, to talk about the second thing, we just got to talk about archetype. And for the second thing, we got to talk about bots. Bots is a thing that I feel like 2K went wrong with in multiple ways, because bots don't have brains, obviously. And we all know that. They're programmed to do what they're supposed to do. And what these bots do is not what they're supposed to do. And that is to play their role. Every bot has a different role, depending on its archetype. Speaking of archetypes, why don't archetypes do what they're supposed to do? And that is because of one big thing that I have been talking about, and that is tendencies. Now, tendency is something that is not up in the game that should be up in the game, because if it was up in the game, it would make a big change. That was a little bar. You just didn't listen. Keep listening, because I got more and more to say. Now, before I keep going on, you didn't know what tendencies are, and tendencies is a direction or approach towards a place, object, effect, or limit. And with that being said, why is this not up in the game? It's such of a big thing when it comes to sports games, period, because it controls what the bots do. It's just that simple. And with tendencies, it would make such of a big thing. If they added, the game would be way better. But let's get into the third thing, and that is bugs. Bugs are not harmful until they are made harmful. With this bug, it's harmful. Now, when on defense, you can reach, obviously. And when you slap it out somebody's hand, you can go out of bounds, as you should, obviously. But it ain't as simple as just going out of bounds. You can go out of bounds with the ball up in your hand, which is something that's supposed to be a violation. But it's not a violation when it comes to this game, because if you jump to save the ball, you can slide out of bounds, which is a big thing when it comes to basketball, because that's one of the biggest rules. But it still has not been fixed in 2K, which is a basketball game. Now, for like the fourth thing, I want to talk about layout. Layout is just the way the buttons look and things of that nature. Now, the reason I hit on this point, because there's a game that's out that goes by the name of NBA 2K20 Mobile. That defense, the way it was incorporated, was perfect to me. And that is because you can actually control what your player does on defense, unlike this game, because this game sucks you into animations that you should not be sucked into. like when holding the defend button on this game, they make you jump. They make you reach and do things that you're not supposed to, because that defensive pull, or help I should say, is too strong. We should not be having that much help on defense, and this is what gets kids thinking that they're defensive gods when they're really not, when they're just getting bailed out by a system that doesn't work, because sometimes it acts broke because it sells. But the way 2K20 system was incorporated was perfect, bro. You can control your person with an analog stick, and I feel like that's exactly what we need. You can actually switch your player by yourself. You can on this game as well, but you have to tap on a player. Unlike 2K20, all you had to do was tap on the analog stick, and you could switch players and do things like that. Now, if they incorporated this, defense would be totally different. It would be harder. First of all, it would have a skill gap because you actually guarding defense instead of holding the butting that is assisting you the whole time. You thought I was done? The layout don't just consist of one thing, goofy. Keep listening, because if I'm being honest, another big issue that I have with this game defense is the left analog stick. Now, in multiple cases, I have not used the defensive button because I knew that I could run to the offensive man that I was guarding, because that defensive pull was going to suck me to somebody else when I wanted to go another way. So I let go of the defensive button, but they still had me in the defensive stance. Now, I'm gonna just say one simple thing about the left analog stick when you're on defense, bro, and that is make it to where we can run with the left analog stick instead of still guard defense. We should just be able to straight up run. That defensive button should be there to assist us towards our man, not the analog stick. In multiple cases, I have wanted to run to my man, but that defensive pull was so strong that it put me in a defensive stand because I was close to the ball when I wanted to switch, because I had two defenders on one man, and the CPU is not smart enough to actually go back to their man or even switch. So I don't know what number I'm at, but all I gotta say is that I do got more things to talk about, and a big thing that I have up in this game when it comes to defense, because I have lost a few games when it comes to this, and that is shot contest. There's no such thing as that up in this game. There's no such thing as that up in this game. Simple. And what I mean by that is, first of all, CPU don't know how to contest a shot. In multiple cases, CPU has just stood up in the paint, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this already, and that's that. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but yeah, they just stood up in the paint and they have not guarded defense to contest somebody's shot. And since I'm talking about shot contest, I want to talk about archetypes once again. Now, archetypes for builds that are better at defense, they should know to step up. Builds that are not that good should not just be on the 3-point lines going all the way up there. That's just CPU being wired differently and being wired to know what to do using tendencies. Now, if I had to talk about the third thing, I want to talk about ref system. Not third, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what number I'm at, but ref system. There's no refs up in the game, but without a ref, then what is basketball? Street basketball. This is street basketball, but we can still get some calls. Even in street basketball, they call their own fouls. We can't call ours, so who will? The game. And that's what the game needs to do, but the game does not. I have fouled on purpose and not even gotten a foul. CPU foul all the time and does not get hit for fouling, but we do. And not even just for reaching, when bumping is a foul. And CPU does that a lot. Or we can say how when you get fouled when you're going up, they don't call it. You could be going right inside the paint, get bumped. You can go right inside the paint, get smacked in the back of your head, and they won't call it. You can get punched in the head, they will not call it. Do you see what I'm, like, they don't call fouls, and they need to. They need to call traveling, because defense is part of traveling. They need to call all the calls that need to get called. They do call traveling, and I feel like they've been calling more recently. But still, I'm just saying that we need all the calls, man. Alright, man, so I have two things to talk about before y'all just watch the gameplay and stuff like that. If you do stick around and watch the gameplay, shout out to you. But the first thing I want to say before I just end it off is rebounding. If you did not know, rebounding is a part of defensive rebounding. And just to talk about rebounding, period, bro, I could just say rebounding in this game sucks, bro. And the reason it sucks is because they don't do the simple things that they should be doing, and that is boxing somebody out to get a board. Things that is that simple, and they don't do. Instead, they jump straight up and jump just right for the ball. They don't box out. They don't do what they're supposed to do to get a board. And then to talk about rebounding a little more, which I want to say rebounding and stealing just for this case, and that is there are times when I have gotten a steal and the ball has bounced high instead of rolled like it just did. And yeah, I have tapped the steal button to dive for the ball or to get the ball, to just grab the ball, to get the grabbing the ball animation like just happened. And when the ball bounced high, I tapped the steal button and I dove on the ground and missed the ball because it was up in the air bouncing. I should not have dove for the ball. I should have leaped for the ball with my arms to grab the ball, but I didn't. Now, I don't know, they can keep the system to where you dive, but instead, when you tap the steal button, you dive, and when you tap the shoot button, you lunge for it to reach for it. So then you can have more control of grabbing the ball when it's loose. And for the second thing, before I just end it all off, for the last and final thing, I'm pretty sure I've already hit on this point, and that is animations. Now, I didn't really go into depth into animations when I did talk about it because I'm pretty sure animations, it helped me out with another statement that I was making. But animations, let's just talk about that real quick because we don't have enough. And not just stealing, bro, because yes, I did a lot of times. I have gotten up in the passing lane and I did not get the correct stealing animation when I did reach for the ball, and that cost me the game. And it's not cost me the game because I'm bad. I read the passing lane because I played the game so much and I know what they're gonna do, bro. And I read it, I tap the steal button, and I just don't get the right animation, and it screws up everything. We need more. Actually, not even more. We need passing lane stealing animations, period. And then to add on to that, we just need more stealing animations when it comes to up close defense. That's for just stealing. Now, can we talk about blocks? We need more blocking animations, snatch blocks, all that type of thing, all that type of stuff. I mean, and that's not really a big deal. It's just more of, we do need snatch blocks because in a lot of cases, there have been times when I felt like a player should have snatched that block instead of just pounding it out of bounds for no reason. Especially up in clutch moments and things like that, a snatch block could really come in hand. Now, if we're going to keep on talking about stealing animations, we're going to talk about when I do steal the ball, what happens afterwards when I do grab it. We need more animations when you're grabbing the ball instead of just diving or just putting your hands out. We could do more than just that, because not every single time a player should not dive on the ground. And it's simple as that, bro. Now, when I was talking about the bug or whatever earlier, take out that bug, put it back in, but it ain't gonna be a bug, really. It's just gonna be something that's great. Now, earlier I said a bug can come back. A bug is not harmful. It gets made harmful. The bug ain't harmful until you make it. With that being said, if they was to put that diving animation back up in the game, they could put that diving animation to make it to where instead of us just diving and laying there, we could dive and pass in the middle of it. Dive and pass. But if we don't click that pass button while we're in the middle of passing, while we're in the middle of diving, then it's out. That's the way it could be incorporated. Instead of us just diving out of bounds and not being called for out. But that's gonna wrap up the video. If you do want to stick around and watch the rest of this, stick around. I'm not gonna do a voiceover. It's just gonna be sound effects and things like that. Hopefully you enjoy this talk or whatever. And make sure you subscribe with the notification bell turned on, man. Road to 1K, yes sir, man. But I'm out. Alright, man, so I know I said that I was done talking, but I'm not. There's one last thing, and that is speed. Now, that's probably a dumb topic. You probably, that's what you're thinking right now. But when you going on a fast break, after I have gotten steals, CPU, they get like a burst and they just start running off fast. Even the slowest builds will start running faster than the fastest build up in the game, and that just needs a patch. I don't know why CPU comes at you like a zombie wanting to eat off your head. It just needs to get fixed, man. But I hope y'all boys enjoyed. If you stayed out of the way, comment, like, and subscribe. It's your boy Eleye Gunna, and I'm out.